So hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we'll be solving a new problem, that is minimum operations to make binary array elements equal to 1. So in this problem, what we have to do is that we have given an array nums. So this is the nums array. Okay. So there's a couple of things in this question. So the first thing is that we have given a binary array. Binary array means it will be only 0 and 1s. Okay. So it will contains only 0 and 1. Right now what we have to do, we have to do the following operations any number of times, right? There's no restriction to do number of time, but it is, we can do any number of time. Okay, so now moving ahead, so now we have to choose any three consecutive elements, right? And after that we have to flip all of them. Flipping means if the element is 0, we will change that to 1. If that is 1, then we will change that to 0. What this means is that, let's see with an example. So this is my cute drawing. Let's see it with an example. So we have given, suppose this is the nums array, right? And we suppose choose, we can choose any of the subarray. So suppose we choose this one, right? Subarray is like three consecutive elements. Okay, so these are the three consecutive elements, and if we flip them, flipping means 0 will change to 1 and 1 will change to 0. So there are only 0 elements, so then it will be 1 1 1 1 and then two more ones. Okay, so this will be the array after flipping. So this is what flipping means. So suppose we have to flip these three elements, then what we will do? It will be 1 0 0. I think you get the idea, right? Now what we have to do is that we have to just return the minimum number of operations required to make all the array elements equal to 1. It means that we can do any number of operations, but we have to give the minimum number of operations that is required to make the array equal to 1. It means that all the array elements should be 1, that we have seen in this case. So for this example, will this be a valid case? I think so, because we will take these three elements and we will flip it, and we will get all the ones, right? So this can be the valid answer. So if in case it is not possible, then we will simply return -1, right? So in this example, how many operations we are taking to change this array? Think about it. That would be only 1. Why 1? Because we are just flipping one time. So if you remember, we have to take three consecutive elements, right? Any three consecutive elements. Okay. So in that case, the answer, we will return simply 1. Okay. So this is the problem statement. Now let's dive into the intuition part. As we have solved a couple of questions uh, of binary search and sliding window also. So in the previous video, I have told you that whenever we see anything or subarray or consecutive elements, right? In that case, the first thing that it will get into our mind would be, can we use sliding window technique? Yes? No? Okay, let's see. So sliding window technique is simple. We have to just create a window, right? And we have to simply traverse it or move our window, right? What we have to do, we have to just simply move our window. This is the basic sliding window technique. In the previous question, we was just modifying or increasing or decreasing or shrinking basically the window, but in this case our window would be what? Our window would be fixed, fixed to 3. Why? Because we have to take only 3 consecutive elements, right? I think this question is very very straightforward. If you will overthink it, this will be very difficult question, right? But it's pretty straightforward and trivial to do. So I'll show you. Suppose we are taking this three elements. We will start with three elements. Okay. So first we will check that, okay, on our zeroth element, if we have 1, right? Because we have to convert our array to only one element. like it should all have all the elements equal to 1. Okay, so this is not equal to 1. It means that we have to flip this array, or the array element, right? So if we want to flip this element, we have to flip all the three elements. It means that the consecutive two elements, this would also be flipped, right? So we will just flip it. So now this 0 will become 1, this 1 will become 0, and this will also become 0, right? So we are done with it. Okay, so this is fine. So we will move ahead. So let's suppose we have our window as at here. Okay, now we will shift our window because this thing is done. Okay, we will move ahead. Now we will check that, okay, in this position, is it equal to 1? No, it is not. Okay, so what we will do, we will just change the value to 1. Okay, now this would be 1. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to shift or change the values of the other two elements also, like this one and this one, right? Because we have changed this value. So now we will change that again. Okay, that would be 1, this would be 0. Okay, so this would be our new array. So I'll just simply write down the values below, because that way it would be much clearer. Okay, 0, and this is 0 and 0 again. Okay, now our pointer will move to here. Now see it very clearly that, okay, we have the value 1 now. Okay, so we don't have to do anything. We'll simply move our array again. Simple. Okay, after that we will see that, okay, what is the value? The value is 0, so we have to change the values again. Okay, so what we will do, we will change the value to 1. Now we have to change all the consecutive elements also. This would be also 1 and 1. Okay, now we will move ahead. We will check that, okay, there is one more condition that, okay, because this array has only two elements left only. Okay, not two only, just one only left. Okay, so we need at least two elements, right? In that case, we will simply break out of the loop. Okay, so after that we will just break. So what would be the answer? The answer would be, how many times you have shifted? One time here, second time here, and third time here. Okay, so this is the intuition part of it. I'll just try run it in the other another example. So let's take this example. Okay, so now we will just simply use a count so that it's easy for us to say that, okay, what is the answer now? So let's traverse it again. Okay, we are here now. Our pointer is here. Okay, we will check it. Okay, if 0 is it equal to 1, no, it is not. Then what we will do, we will simply change the value to 1, and also the two consecutive elements also. So this would be 0 and 0 again. Now we will simply move our pointer. Okay, so now we are here. Okay, so is it 0? Yes, it is. So what we will do, we will simply change the value again. Okay, this value was 1, then we will simply change the value again. So that would be, I'll just copy paste it. Now 1, again two elements, 1, and that would be 0. Okay, the value would be now 2 because we have changed it twice. Now our pointer will move to this side. Now we don't have enough elements, so we will break out of the loop. But the thing that we have to say is that, okay, in our previous array, all the elements were equal to 1. Okay, that's why this condition was satisfying, and we will simply return the value 3. Okay, but in this example, all the elements are not 1. We already have this 0, and which cannot be changed to 1, because there will always be a condition that we will have a 0 in it, in this array. So this is the case that is for the not possible one. So we will simply return the value as -1. So there is a technique that, okay, so what if that we will calculate the sum of it, right? So in the sum would be 1, 1, 1, that would be 3. Okay, the sum is 3. And we have to just check that all the elements should be equal to 1. It means that if the length is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the elements should, if all the elements are 1, then the sum would also be 1. But in this case, this is not true, right? So that's why we will simply return -1. So in this case, our previous example, the sum was 1 plus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sum was 6, and our length was also 6. So this was matching. That's why we will simply return the value as result. Okay, that we were storing or counting, right? So this is the basic intuition of it. So you will be wondering that, okay, how will we change this value from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1? You can simply use a if else condition. I think that would be fair, right? Or you can also use one another technique, that is XOR. So if you remember in your like school or college days, that anything XOR with 0, suppose if both the elements are 0 or 1, we will simply return the value as 1, right? After that, if 1 XOR 0, that would also give us 1. 1 XOR 1 would give us 0, because the same thing, if we XOR the same element, that will give us 0. Okay, and if it is different, then it will give us 1. So again, 0 XOR 0 would give us 0. Okay, so this is the XOR condition that you can use, or you can simply use the if else condition, that if the current value is suppose 0, then change it to 1, right? Like that. So this is the intuition part of it. So let's dive into the question. Okay, I'll simply write the code of it. So for our count, we will be simply taking the value as 0. So we'll start with 0. Okay, so as the count, if you remember the count that we have taken, right? After that, we will simply iterate through our loop. So the loop would be this pointer, right? It will increment till the value that is less than -2. Okay, if that is the case, like suppose it should have at least two elements, right? If it is having only one element, we have to break out of it. So for that, we will simply use range length of the array, okay, -2. So this will give us the value that is less than the 2. Okay, so it will break here. Okay, because we don't have two elements after that. Okay, I hope you understand that. So now we will add the condition part, right? So for the condition, what we have to do, we have to simply check if our value is equals to 0. Then what we have to do, we have to flip. If 0, then we have to do what? We have to flip. Okay, we will check that, okay, if nums of left is equals to 0, if that's the case, we have to do what? We have to flip. So to flip, we have to change the values of itself, the current element, this, and also the two consecutive elements also, right? We take the lumps of left, and you can simply just use the XOR that I have showed you like this. Okay, or you can also use the if else condition. Suppose if nums of left is equals to 0, change the value to 1. Okay, else change the value to 0. Okay, I hope you understand that. So I'll simply write the ternary operator because it's looking so ugly. Okay, so like this we can use that. Okay, so if, then the condition, if that is true, we will execute this one, else we will simply use this one. Okay, sorry, I forgot to use this one. So if that is true, we will change the value nums of left plus 1 to 1. Otherwise, we will change the value to 0. Okay. I hope you understand that. So this is the two ways that you can use. I'll simply stick to the green part, left plus 2. Okay. So this is the flipping part. Okay. So after flipping, what we have to do, we have to also count, right? So we have to increase our counter so that, okay, we have flipped. Whenever we have flipped, we have to increase our counter. So once we are done with that, we have to just check that, okay, if you remember that condition that we have used, that, okay, if the sum of the array is equal to the length of the array, that means that we have the valid answer, right? If that's not the case, suppose in this example, we'll simply return the value as -1. Okay. We will check it if the sum of nums is equals to the length of nums. If that's the case, we will simply return the value of our count. Okay. Else we will simply return the value as -1. Okay. I hope this is the okay. So this is the correct answer. So I'll just submit it. It has been done. So, and it's also pretty efficient. So this is the intuition part and the code part of it, and talking about the time complexity. So this is just taking the single iteration. So that is big O of n, only one loop. Okay. And we are not taking any additional space, right? So the space would be big O of 1. Okay. So, so if you have any doubt or question or any suggestions, you can simply drop that in the comment section. This is it for the video. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Take care.